All right, sir. My name is Mike Gardner. I'm running for State Senate District 11. I'm running as a Republican up in the Boiling Springs, Inman, Chesney, and surrounding areas downtown also. I'm a retired state trooper for 25 years, and some of the reasons I'm running is because of wasteful spending. Our government's really grown. I'm a less government, less tax kind of guy. Also, transparency in government as far as voting and voting records. I think that every vote should be written down what the legislator voted for, and it should be set down beside. If a legislator votes for a certain bill, then their name should be beside it. I think it's very important. I know that most people are held accountable and responsible for their performance in their jobs, and I think our legislators should be held accountable also.
All right. If you were elected, what would you change about the way the state raises and spends its money?
Well, that's an excellent question. If it was possible for me to do anything to make any kind of changes, it would be spending caps, and also it would be responsibility as far as spending in itself. Being a former state employee, I feel like I have been through the rough times and the good times with state government. And as a legislator, I think one of the chief responsibilities they have is to make sure that they are good stewards of the public's money. And as a taxpayer, it's very important that that's our money that we send down there. That to make sure that our state is run properly. And I think before they spend any money, they should make sure that they know where that money's going, and also in addition that you don't spend money that you don't have. Because I know at my house, and probably at your house too, if you want to go buy something, you want to make sure you have enough money to pay for it. Because if you don't have enough money to pay for it, there are going to be consequences. And I think that's where we have some consequences now, because we didn't, or they didn't, take the time or the responsibility to make sure that they had money that I believe that they were planning on getting. But when I know, as I said, as far as myself, I have to watch my money and what I spend it on, and I have to make necessary changes and directions on how I want to spend my money to also make sure that what do I really need to spend the money on, because I know there's so many items that you can spend it on. So we need to be careful on how we spend it.
How do you feel about public money being spent through vouchers or tax credits to help parents pay for homeschooling or private schools?
Well, I'm against vouchers altogether. I've got a son that's a senior at Boiling Springs now, and he went to private school when he was younger, Spartanburg Christian Academy. I paid for that, and I felt like that was something that I wanted him to get a good Christian base. We have a Christian home, and I wanted him to understand the importance of being a good Christian. But as far as vouchers, no, sir, I don't believe in them. Now, as far as tax credits, I don't have a problem with that. I think that as anybody that can receive a tax credit to help them, I'm all for it.
What do you see South Carolina being like 20 years from now? And what are you going to do to make that vision a reality?
Well, that's another good question. Before I can tell you what I think they'll be 20 years from now, I want to go back 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
In 1987, I was on Carroll Campbell's security detail for his 8 years. Drove him all over the state, went all over the world with him, saw how he did business. He was a big recruiter on the industry, brought in BMW along with, we could sit here and talk about all the industry he brought in. If you look at how South Carolina was 20 years ago and then how it is now, look how much the infrastructure's grown, traffic, population, and I know that's happened in a lot of other areas, but still it appears that Spartanburg County in itself has increased in better jobs and performances as far as family living and income. 20 years from now, I would like to see the same thing that's occurred here in South Carolina. I would like to see more industry come in, higher paying jobs, that I don't want to see people like my 17-year-old son when he graduates, goes to college, get a job, but he has to go to another state to get a job because of technology. I think it's very important that we have jobs here, in the upstate especially, being the business area that we are, that our children should not have to go out of state because we don't want to lose the best and brightest students. I want to keep them here in South Carolina. So that would be something that it would be very important to me.